story of the house fire on a quiet street in St. Paul, MN, begins tragically in the early morning hours of winter. It was around 2 a.m. when the fire started, flames engulfing the two-story home. Neighbors woke up to the sounds of crackling wood and the smell of burning. The firefighters arrived too late. A young woman and her 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons, all under the age of 10, were found lifeless inside. They had died from smoke inhalation. The husband, who worked the night shift at a factory across town, returned to the horrific scene, collapsing in grief as the flames reduced everything he had to ashes. He never stepped foot near that house again, and it remained abandoned for years, a hushed reminder of the tragic event. Years passed, and an investor saw potential in the charred, abandoned house. He bought it for a bargain, tore down the remains, and rebuilt a modern home over the same foundation. It was a fresh start, a new beginning for anyone willing to make it their own. The house was soon put up for sale, and a young couple, Matt and Emily, fell in love with it instantly. They had a 5-year-old son named Danny and were excited about this new chapter in their lives. Emily worked a day shift as a nurse, while Matt worked nights as a security guard, trading off child-rearing duties. At first, the house seemed perfect. Bright, airy, and full of life, nothing hinted at its dark past. As the first few months went by, Matt started noticing strange things when he tried to nap during the day. He would lie on the bed, the warm sunlight streaming in through the curtains, drifting off into sleep. But just as he would start to dream, he felt something cold brush against his feet. It felt like small, icy fingers gently pressing down on his toes. Startled, he would sit up, his eyes scanning the room, but there was never anyone there. He chalked it up to his imagination or the exhaustion from working night shifts. On weekends when Danny was home, Matt noticed the boy would disappear into the basement for hours. When Emily asked Danny what he was doing down there, he would reply nonchalantly, "Playing with my new friends." The first time they heard this, it seemed harmless. Kids have imaginary friends all the time, but Danny's descriptions became unsettling. "There are 3 of them," Danny told his parents one day. 2 boys and a girl. The girl says her name is Lily, and she likes to braid my hair. The boys play hide and seek with me, but they don't want to come upstairs because they're scared of the lady. Emily tried to laugh it off, but Matt felt a shiver run down his spine. He asked Danny more about these friends. "Where do they come from?" Matt asked. "They live here," Danny said matter-of-factly. "They said they got burned, but they're not sad. They just want to play. But the lady, she gets angry when we make too much noise." At night, when Emily was home with Danny and Matt was at work, she began to hear strange noises. It started with the sound of children's laughter coming from the upstairs hallway, but when she would check, no one was there. One evening, as she was preparing dinner, she heard a loud thump, like something heavy had fallen. She rushed to the source of the noise, but everything was in place. Then came the scratching. It was faint at first, like something gently scraping against wood. But as the nights went on, it grew louder, more frantic. It seemed to come from the hallway closet, the one just outside Danny's bedroom. One night, as Emily lay in bed, the scratching was so intense it sounded as if someone was trying to claw their way out. Gathering her courage, she approached the closet, her heart pounding. She swung the door open, but there was nothing inside except a few coats swaying gently as if someone had just brushed past them. The scratching persisted, and it began to disturb Danny as well. He started waking up in the middle of the night, crying and screaming about the scary lady in the hallway. "She's trying to come in," he would sob, pointing at the closet door. Emily would hold him tight, whispering that it was just a nightmare, but deep down, she knew something was terribly wrong. However, the cold touch became more frequent. It would wake him from deep sleep, leaving him shivering even on warm afternoons. One day, he decided to stay awake and see if it would happen again. As he lay still, he felt it, the unmistakable sensation of tiny hands clutching his ankle, followed by a faint giggle, almost like the laughter of a child. He shot up from the bed, drenched in sweat. Danny was at school, and Emily was at work. He was alone. Matt and Emily decided to set up a camera in the hallway to see if they could catch what was causing the noises. They reviewed the footage the next morning, and their blood ran cold. The camera picked up faint whispers, followed by the sound of footsteps, even though no one was visible. But then, as the footage continued, they saw something that made their skin crawl, a shadowy figure of a woman standing near the closet. Her head was tilted unnaturally to the side, and her long, dark hair covered her face. She reached out towards the closet door with fingers that looked too long, too thin, scratching at the wood. Before they put the house on the market, they stayed one last night to gather their things. Matt had taken the night off, not wanting to leave Emily and Danny alone. The atmosphere was heavy, and every creak and groan of the old house felt ominous. As they packed boxes in the living room, Danny suddenly looked up, his eyes wide with terror. "She's here," he whispered. "The scary lady is here." At that moment, the lights flickered, and the temperature in the room dropped drastically. They heard it again, the unmistakable sound of small children running and laughing upstairs, followed by the loud, angry scratching at the closet door. It was louder than ever before, as if whatever was inside was desperate to get out. Emily grabbed Danny, and they ran towards the front door. Matt was right behind them, but as he turned to leave, he caught a glimpse of the woman. She stood at the top of the stairs, her face pale and gaunt, her eyes dark hollows filled with an indescribable rage. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out, only a silent scream that sent chills down Matt's spine. They didn't stop running until they were outside. The moment they stepped off the porch, the noises stopped. The house fell silent, its dark windows staring back at them like empty eyes. Matt and Emily sold the house at a loss, desperate to leave. The new owners, a middle-aged couple with no children, never reported any disturbances, but the house remained shrouded in an eerie quiet. Rumors spread among the neighbors about what had happened to Matt and Emily, and some even whispered about the fire that had claimed the lives of the young mother and her 3 children all those years ago. The story of the house faded over time, becoming nothing more than a local ghost story told by kids daring each other to knock on the door. But those who knew its history believed the spirits of the children and their mother still lingered, trapped in the place where their lives had ended so tragically, waiting for someone to hear their cries and feel their cold, desperate touch.